Welcome back everybody to another episode of Let's Play Spirit of Justice. And she has a serious grudge about Trucy right now, so we're gonna continue on into this and see what her purpose of this whole situation was.
I'm finally done with that goody two-shoes cottontail act. I'm free as a bat.
Defense! Your therapy session has taken a turn for the worse from the looks of it. There's a perfectly good explanation for this. Isn't there, Miss Sykes?
Methinks I created a monster. We blew it.
Hey you, lobster boy.
What? Who, me?
You think I'm glad Trucy is in trouble? That she's getting her just desserts? Well, guess what? You're right.
Does this mean you admit to wishing the defendant harm?
Well, the bat is out of the bag now. That mistake of mine was a work of art. Thanks to my goof, poor little Trucy had to do all of that hard physical labor.
When you say hard physical labor, what are you referring to?
Because of Mr. Hat's new position, Trucy had to move both of those huge stage lifts. They must have been so heavy. What a riot!
That's strange. Athena, could you please add that last statement to Bonny's testimony?
Alright, I'll update the move matrix with the new info. Huh? Hey, Apollo. Now there's a new inconsistency in the testimony.
Yeah, she finally slipped up. So what do I need to do now?
Well, from this point onward, you just do what you do best. Find the contradiction in the testimony and present evidence to refute it.
Alright, I've got you now, Bonny to Famme. What is this new testimony?
You know what? Serves her right. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lifts.
There's definitely a contradiction in her testimony.
So just present evidence like you always do. And since we finally found something, I'd say we can call the therapy session a success.
You call Batsy McBatty over there a success? I think we are presenting something on the last statement. Because I'm pretty sure there shouldn't have been anyone else down there except for Trucy. Objection! So we're presenting Trucy's statement here. That doesn't make any sense.
What? So you think I'm crazy now?
Yeah, batshit crazy. No, that's not the point I was trying to make.
But I don't hear you denying it.
Mr. Famme, allow me to repeat your statement. Thanks to that, she ended up having to move the stage lifts.
That's right. And I still say that's just what she does.
But how did you know? How did you know Miss Wright moved the stage lifts?
Huh?
According to her own statement, she didn't tell anyone that she had done so.
Well, what?
So how could you possibly have known what she had done unless you saw her? You saw Miss Wright moving the lifts in the understage passage, didn't you?
Yeah!
I'm sorry, that little addition's really cute. I love the character designs for this character a lot.
Apollo. Noise levels are at 0%.
But, Mr. Justice, wouldn't that mean... Yes, Your Honor. Miss Famme herself was under the stage where the victim was killed. And I hardly need to tell the court what that means. You are one artful liar, Miss Famme, and one spectacular suspect.
My poor umbrella. Why, you shiny red lobster boy! You're saying I killed Mr. Reus?
I'm saying that it's a possibility. What's more, I say you had a solid motive to frame my client for the murder as well. My apologies for raining on the defense's merry rivalry. Revelry? But you seem to have forgotten one very important point. Oh, really? The TV footage. As you can clearly see, Miss Famme was on the stage the whole time. The entire audience can bear witness to that fact, including you. Oh, yeah. You have just taken a long and senseless journey, only to return to the starting line. The witness could not have been in the understage passage, which means the only one left who could have killed the victim is the accused. Yeah!
Guess the party's over.
But Miss Famme knew something she couldn't have known unless she was under the stage. How do you explain that, Prosecutor Submati? It's quite simple. The accused must have told Miss Famme about it, but then forgot.
Ha! Open those useless eyes of yours and take a good look at the footage.
If Miss Famme really was in the understage passage, it would mean she was on stage and understage at the same time.
You mean she was in two places at once? That does seem to be the only explanation that makes any sense.
Well, it may be an explanation, but I'm not so sure about the make sense part.
Then we'll just have to make it make sense. Your Honor, the witness was both on stage and understage at the same time. That is the defense's assertion. I've heard some illogical things come out of you before, but this is absurd. I'm sure you'll change your tune once you hear my reasoning, Your Honor. My gut tells me you're bluffing, but I'll bite. Very well, Mr. Justice. How do you explain how the witness was in two places at once? Okay, I want to try one of these since there seems to be no penalty for this, so... The Bonny Famme on stage was fake! Fake? Really? Such an assertion is not something one would expect to hear from a genuine lawyer. Oh, maybe you are the fake and your attorney's badge is made out of cardboard! No, I'm the real thing, I swear! And why cardboard specifically? Did you not check that particular case in game number 2? Let's just say I had an infuriating experience once, thanks to that one. In any case, your fake Bonny theory doesn't sound very convincing.
It's not a bad idea in theory, but I think the one on stage was the real Bonny. You can just tell.
If the one on stage wasn't fake, does that mean the one understage was real too? Please, let me try again, Your Honor. Very well, Mr. Justice. How do you explain how the witness was in two places at once? There were two Bonnies. There were two Bonnies, Your Honor. If that were the case, it would all make sense, wouldn't it? There were...
2 of them?
I suspect you had a few screws loose, but now I see some are missing altogether. Is there a toolkit in this courtroom, Your Honor? I suppose 2. No 3 screws to the head should righten his putrid brain. Very well. Bailiff, could you... No, wait! Please, listen to my argument. Very well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to at least give it a listen. As was argued earlier, Miss Famme is shown in the footage the whole time, but at the same time, she was also watching Ms. Wright in the understage passage. The only possible explanation is that there are two Bonnies. That almost sounds like it makes sense. What do you think, Prosecutor Bonny? This humble servant of the Holy Mother is of the opinion that we should lose no time in replacing the defense's many lost screws. Come on, Ayuda!
But Apollo, it goes against reality itself to say that one person is actually two.
Oh, come on, twins! Guys, please! We don't have to be bound by reality. After all, we're talking about magic here. So if Bonny Famme in the footage is the real Bonny, then the Bonny here on the witness stand, the one who must have been on her stage, this Bonny Famme is our second Bonny.
Key!
She is?
Say we call the one in front of us Bonny number 2. I believe I have just a piece of evidence to prove that Miss Bonny number 2 exists. Oh? Then please submit your evidence, Mr. Justice. What proves the existence of a Bonny number 2? Where are the fingerprint listings? There we go. Because remember we found a mysterious fingerprint that we couldn't identify? What's this? During our investigation, we found a set of unknown prints on the coffin on the stage. These prints were most likely left during the course of the show. But they didn't match the prints of any of the people involved in this case. An unknown third-party fingerprints. I was not told of this.
Emma must have kept it from him.
So the question is, who could these prints possibly belong to? Gotcha now! Miss Famme, or should I say Bonny number 2. These are your fingerprints, aren't they?
Yeah!
Enough of this foolishness. One person could not possibly be 2. These fingerprints, those fingerprints could have been left, not only during the show, but at any time. It's not like you to lose your cool like that, Prosecutor Samani. Ooh, that burn. And I'm sure you know that. Exactly when the fingerprints were made is not the main issue. What do you mean by that, Mr. Justice? The issue is who do these unknown prints belong to? They're certainly not Bonny Famme's. But what if they belong to the person standing right in front of us? Oh, you mean Bonny number 2 is the second Bonny? Is that what you're implying? It's preposterous to suggest that those prints belong to the witness. I say they must belong to some other unknown individual. Prosecutor Samani, can you really look at her and still say that?
What are you looking at? Take a picture. It'll last longer.
How could this be? If we check her prints, I'm sure they'll match the unknown set. Well, Bonny, the prints that don't belong to the real you belong to you, don't they, Bonny number 2?
Key!
Witness, is what the defense has said true?
Fine, I admit it. The fingerprints are mine.
Then does that mean you aren't Bonny Famme? What? Ridiculous. Are there really 2 Bonnies?
Nope, there's only one Bonny. That's because I'm Betty. Betty Famme.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen of the court, it's time for a wondrous magic show. Gasp in amazement as this lagomorphing illusionist performs her teleportation magic. Watch closely. It's showtime!
Oh my god, these two are so cute! I can't. What an amazing trick! The witness has suddenly split into two people!
It's not a trick. No gimmick to it either. We're simply twins.
What? Twins? So that's how the teleportation trick works.
Ever since our debut, I've had to hide or pretend I'm Bonny. All cute and sweet and goody-goody. I can't tell you how stressful it's been.
Poor Betty.
But I don't have to hide anymore. That's right. Our days of sneaking around are finally over.
Their cover is blown, but they actually seem pretty happy about it.
So, which one of you is the nice Bonny DeFame we met in the dressing room?
That would be me.
And the sharp-tongued Bonny we saw with raiding Rajas understage was...
Hey, who are you calling sharp-tongued?
It's all starting to make sense now. Hey! Like, seriously, twins! The most obvious answer right there. Well, so, Mr. Justice, this changed the facts of the case rather dramatically, doesn't it? It certainly does. During the show, it was Bonny who was on stage the whole time, so Bonny couldn't have committed the crime. But Betty, on the other hand, who was understaged, did have the opportunity. Uh-oh. Eek. Well, so we now have two suspects.
Wait just a minute there, lobster boy. I didn't do it. That's right. Betty may have a foul mouth, but she'd never kill anybody. Hey, who's got a foul mouth here? Well, speak up, huh?
Please save your sibling squabbling for later. Betty, you must have been in the understage passage during the show. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known about the stage list being moved. So what exactly were you doing down there?
Fine, I'll testify anything to get you off my back.
Prosecutor Samadi, Betty DeFame is ready to testify. What do you say? Betty, you lied to this humble servant of the Holy Mother.
Hey, what else could I do? I couldn't blow our cover and ruin our magic act. Besides, am I gonna go to your twilight hell or whatever for being a liar?
You will indeed. However, it won't be after your death. Rather... Oh. I shall give you a taste of your punishment on this mortal coil, in interrogation hell.
Eek!
Now then, Betty DeFame, please explain to the court what exactly you were doing under the stage. What happened under stage?
It's true. I had business in the understage passage because of the upcoming trick. It was the fire truck, right? The one Mr. Rios was supposed to do? That's right. It's a very dangerous trick, so I had to make sure we were prepared for it. It was, in the script, and I really wanted to see it, but I couldn't because of the accident. Shut up! You're gonna give it away! Anyway, I was real busy. Yeah, way too busy to have the chance to kill Mr. Rius.
Well, that was certainly different.
How's that for a flawless testimony and alibi? Our magic is real. It's not a trick or a gimmick.
Oh my! She's floating! Your Honor? You can see she's being held up from below.
You were supposed to pretend you didn't see that. It's a little something called etiquette.
But I can't help it. Whenever I see a contradiction or inconsistency, I just have to point it out. Poor Apollo. Now then, the defense may begin its cross-examination. Okay, we are pressing on everything. Oh, music picked up. Alright, that's cool too. And you were in the understage passage, which, need I remind you, was the crime scene. Then you most certainly should be counted as a potential suspect.
But I don't have any motive to kill Mr. Rius.
But you, by your own admission, hate Miss Wright. When she was arrested as a suspect, you said it was what she deserved. So you believe the witness killed a man simply due to her dislike of Trucy Wright. As a motive, is that not improbable at best. But what if her hatred caused her to bear a strong sense of malice against my client?
Look, Trucy just made me mad, that's all. I mean, even though she's younger than me, she's got so much more skill and popularity. And she is cute, besides. She makes me so mad, I wish she would just drop dead.
Someone is really, really jealous of Trucy.
But Betty, don't talk like that. Shut your yap!
So, was it just simply jealousy?
Say, Betty, that next trick you were getting ready for.
Bonny? We're trying to get Betty's testimony right now, so...
Oh, right. I'm sorry.
You can step down if you like.
I'm worried about Betty, though. She can lose her temper and say awful things sometimes. Hey, what are you, my mother? Don't forget, I'm the older sister. You got that? Yes, I got it.
I guess I'd worried about Mount Betty? Oh, okay. I guess I'd worried about Mount Betty constantly blowing her top if I were Bonny too. So Betty, you were down under stage getting ready for the fire trick, were you? And you were taking every necessary precaution, is that right?
Of course, every precaution. After all, it's a very dangerous trick that uses real fire. I mean, we had to be ready in case the curtain caught fire or something, right?
By the time people realize it wasn't a part of the act, it might be too late, huh?
If by people you mean Athena Sykes, then yes. Ooh, wow, a fire trick! That sounds really impressive.
Your beard would go up in smoke, old man. I bet people'd mistake you for a cue ball or something without it.
A cue ball?
Betty, don't be rude to the judge. Betty, you know that fire trick?
I see the fire trick was a part of the script. It seems Mr. Rios was scheduled to perform it later in the show. Did you not get to see him practice it beforehand?
No. During rehearsal, he said he didn't feel so well, so he couldn't breathe fire for me.
Wait, let me get this straight. He couldn't breathe fire because he wasn't feeling well?
My magical powers appear to be on the wane today. That's what he said.
So it was just a part of his usual The Great Mr. Rios shtick?
It's really too bad I didn't get to see the trick because of the incident. Which was completely unexpected, of course. Hey!
So what exactly do you mean by you're gonna give it away?
See, Bonny? You and your big mouth. Now Lobster Boy wants to know what we're talking about. I'm so sorry.
Yes, well, if you were preparing for the next magic trick, I'm sure you wouldn't have had the time to commit murder.
Wow, looks like the old geezer isn't senile just yet, huh? I bet you'll live a good, long life.
I don't know, he's living a pretty good long life as it is, considering how many games he's in. Every single one. Ho ho ho! I plan to be sitting up here at least another 10 years.
10 more years? I don't know about that.
What do we discuss about inner monologues, Athena?
Well, more power to ya, I guess. In any case, I was so busy I didn't have time to off anybody.
Are you just trying to cover for Betty?
No, of course not. I believe in my sister. I know she'd never murder anyone.
But you think my client would?
No, I believe in Trucy too. I know she'd never murder anyone either.
Well, we just ran out of suspects in that case.
Yes, but... See, you should have just kept your mouth shut, dummy. You're just making a fool of yourself. Just be nice and quiet like a good little bunny. Got it? Alright. I guess I'm no help.
Oh! Oh boy. It's impossible to get anything out of Bonny with Betty right there. So Betty was too busy getting ready for the next trick to have time for murder, huh?
There must be some way to prove that that wasn't the case.
I mean, there was a pretty dusty fire bucket. Now where am I going to present this at? This is where I got stuck when I originally went through this part, and I couldn't figure out which statement I was presented to. But we're presenting it to this one. I believe. Yes, I hope. Fire bucket! Objection! Yes! Good. I hate to break this to you, Betty, but there's a big flaw in your testimony. As big as the one in that floating trick you did earlier.
Oh, harsh words. Well, let me tell you something, forehead boy. No one has ever figured out how we do our teleportation trick.
No one except me, you mean?
Well, humph. We have even better tricks up our sleeves. Huh? We do? I told you to keep it zipped!
Now, don't fight, you two. Mr. Justice, what's this about a flaw in the testimony? The script has this to say about the fire trick. This will be dangerous. Make sure the fire bucket is ready. However, we found the fire bucket lying empty backstage except for... We found the... Oh, what the heck with this sentence? For some reason it's bothering me. That except there. However, we found the fire bucket lying empty backstage except for a layer of dust.
Ow!
You didn't even attempt to get ready for the next trick, did you, Betty?
You got me!
Rubble, rubble, rubble. Bonny to Famme, you will explain yourself.
There's nothing to explain. Come on, Betty. We can't hide it any longer. We might as well tell them. Shut up! You can barely take care of yourself. Don't try and tell me what to do.
Well, if neither of you would explain, I guess I'll have to. The reason Betty didn't prepare for the fire trick is because she... Okay, the answer is knew the show wouldn't go on, but I'm going to save that for the next video. For this part, I'm going to save first. I'm going to save over this, just in case something weird happens to the video. Bye, Turnabout Revolution. I'll see you soon. I'm going to hit all the wrong answers first, just to see what happens when we do them. It's because you're afraid of fire, right?
Are you kidding? What kind of magician is afraid of fire? I should burn your hair off right now for that, starting with those stupid lobster antennae.
I'm afraid the loss of one's hair is too great a penalty for anyone to pay, Mr. Famme. I hope you can be satisfied with this penalty for Mr. Justice instead. Now I really want to know how His Honor and his hair parted ways. Your Honor, please let me try again. The real reason Betty didn't prepare for the fire tricks because she was slacking off. You were supposed to prepare for the next trick, but you were slacking off, weren't you?
Yeah, okay, whatever you say.
You should be ashamed of yourself, neglecting your duties like that.
Oh, yes, I'm very sorry. It'll never happen again, honest.
Yes, I got a sorry out of her. Apollo!
That isn't going to do us any good, Apollo. All we got out of that was an apology.
Oh, good point.
I'm very sorry, Your Honor. It looks like I made a mistake.
No, it looks like your brain is the one slacking off. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Yikes!
Your Honor, please let me try again. Okay, we will probably give the answer in the next video because we are indeed out of time, so I'll see you guys then.